Hello, this is Mr. Beat. How you doing? It's we're hoping that World War III doesn't happen at this point, right? We're not even being hyperbolic anymore. It's funny how every time you went on to social media, especially Twitter, like the last 5 years on Monday, it seemed like World War III was trending, but now it's not trending anymore, but it still seems more possible. Scary times, really scary times to live through. How are we doing this? How are we just going through our day to day lives and expecting everything to be fine and normal? This is insane. What an insane time to live in. Although I would say that World War II would be much more insane. World War One, even even more crazy. So yeah, I guess it's still pretty tame. Here in the United States, we're fine. We got the world's biggest, strongest military protecting us, but how long is that going to last? I don't know. Before we get into that war, the Iran war, that I don't even know what it's called. Is there a name for it yet? We're at war with Iran. Um, Before we get into that, some updates. First of all, I want to say hi to everyone. Thanks for being here. Tom is first, so extra credit for Tom. It's a stormy Friday here in Kansas. We thunderstorms, lightning and the thunder. Yo, LeBron. Hey, how you doing? Mortal Leader is here. Howdy. Eli. Happy early birthday. That's really cool. I was so excited my voice cracked. Slow Snail Studios. Oh, well, you can watch them both at the same time. No. Yeah, the thing is, I'm not an expert at the history of slavery. And so I feel like I'm always kind of looking at these things through I'm trying to analyze the purpose of the show, which I think the purpose of the show was to downplay European atrocities through whataboutisms. To sum up the entire episode of that first episode of Matt Walsh's Real History Show, that's what we reacted to in the live stream last week. It's over on the Cynical Historians channel if you didn't know about it. It is a day. It is a day. Greatest economy lost 90,000 jobs last month, and gas is above $3 a gallon. Well, the reason why gasoline went up is because the Strait of Hormuz was blocked. And so I know the United States produces a lot of oil, and other allies do too. I mean, I say allies. The United States doesn't have very many allies anymore. But the United States should be fine, right? We have all this oil here at home, but the fact of the matter is these very large multinational oil companies, corporations, they make more money by selling their oil to clients, customers in other countries. And so that's kind of, it's also just economics 101 specialization. It makes more sense for them to export more than they keep here at home anyway. So that's why prices have gone up for everybody around the world, not just the United States. I think prices went up more than 30 cents a gallon in Kansas City. I know. Even more so here in Lawrence. Like it was like 40 cents a gallon, just like that, like one day. So yeah, that's just one of the many negative effects that we're going to see. We'll get into it. Yeah. Oh, James Tellerico won. That's good news. Yeah. I got to say, every time I listen to this guy, and I found out he's also a former teacher, so I really like him. In case you didn't know, or in case you don't know who we're talking about, James Tellerico is running for the U.S. Senate in Texas, and he won his primary. And he is scaring the heck out of Republicans right now, because I think he actually has a decent chance to win and turn Texas blue in the Senate for the first time in a long time. Like we're talking decades. It's, the last Democratic senator in Texas was one of the good old boys back before the party is fully flipped. So that kind of tells you how things are changing in Texas, and it's mostly just because Donald Trump was so unpopular. But Tellerico is the real deal. His rhetoric is mostly focused on class issues versus culture war crap. So he gets it with the rhetoric. His policies are actually, I mean, they're left leaning, but fairly pragmatic. It's not like he's this extreme leftist or whatever. But I like him. Yeah, he really promotes his Christianity. He's also a preacher, I believe. That's a crazy development, isn't it? Yeah, the United States might run out of munitions, specifically our ability to intercept missiles headed towards our military bases or our country. Apparently, this is not as big a deal as some are making it out to be, because they're already the private sector has been producing more. It's just a matter of transferring them over. So I don't know. A lot of it's, I think, a media hype, but still, it's crazy that this was even brought up, that they're already running out of munitions. It's not a war. It's a special military operation. Yes, yes. Hutai Jones, thank you for that, because some in the Trump administration are not calling it a war. That reminds me of Harry Truman when he was asked about sending troops to Korea in 1950. Sometimes he called it a police action. But all this stuff that's happening today, just you can't really compare it to anything. And my glasses just fell off. You can't really just compare it to anything in history, because nothing like this exactly has happened before. Even Iraq. We'll get into it. Here. I don't want to jump into it too much. Just saying hi to everybody taking attendance here. Hello, Vagrant. Eddie, thank you. Even the UK is like, what are you doing, United States? Right? You're like, we have no allies other than Israel at this point. And Israel, of course, hates Iran and has been wanting to go to war with them for decades. But Netanyahu, even more so in his regime. No crap. You're born exactly 20 years after me, though. That's cool. So yeah, you're 24 years old. Okay. Wow. I haven't watched Getty's new video, but I'm not going to react to that. I'm going to react to Iran war stuff, I decided, because the United States went to war with Iran literally a few hours after we live streamed last time. And the wee hours of the night when we were all sleeping last Friday night. Strait of Hormuz. Oh, you're talking about Trump, Mortal Leader, right? All right. Oh, look at this. We got a shout out to Ron Chernow's Alexander Hamilton bio. Oh, of course. Yeah, they hated each other. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson hated each other. Alexander Hamilton, James Madison even hated each other. They all hated each other. Polarization was, it's always been around. I think we didn't realize how good we had it, between really like most of the post-World War II era, but especially in the 1970s and through the 1990s, how united the country really was. We don't really even recognize it when it's happening. But yeah, we've always been polarized. Political parties have been here since 1792. And that's a good book. That's the book that inspired what's his face to write the Hamilton musical. He was reading that book at an airport. I remember seeing an interview. Oh, what is his name? The guy who wrote Hamilton, the musical. Someone's going to say in the chat. Yeah. Oh, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Yes. Thank you. See, Mortal Leader, extra credit for you. Okay. November 6, 2001. Holy crap, you were born right after September 11th. That's crazy. All right. So before I go into the Iran war, which I don't know, what are they calling it on Wikipedia? The Iran war. Does this officially have it? Just the 2026 Iran war. That's what we're calling it. That's just what we're calling it. Okay. There's just so many wars that with Iran. They already got a nice, pretty good summary already. This has been happening 6 days now. The United States and Israel versus Iran. Before we get into that, I keep saying that. I am really excited that I have this new podcast. It's with the ACLU, and it's like a legit professional thing. I'm actually flying to New York to record it in an actual studio. They have a whole team, a production team. They have a separate video production team. So this will be in video format on YouTube as well. They said I can share clips on my own channel. And I have a co-host now. Her name is Shireen. And she used to do the podcast Code Switch with NPR. A really good podcast. It was something that I think it was one of the most popular and critically acclaimed podcasts of 2020. So during the pandemic, when everyone was kind of stuck at home, a lot of podcasts really took off. That was one of them, Code Switch. But yeah, her and I will start recording, I think, in early April. And the first episode is supposed to come out April 30th. I've already written the first episode. It's about the United States versus Wong Kim Ark, which is a Supreme Court case about birthright citizenship listed out in the 14th Amendment. I made a video about that. I wrote about it in my book, so I knew that case fairly well already. The second case that I'm going to be writing a script for the third episode, I believe, is Gitlow v. New York. The Gitlow case is also, it's a good one. I haven't made a video about it, but I did write about it in my book. So anyway, so that's going on with the ACLU. Yes, the ACLU, which, speaking of the ACLU, they are suing Kansas over Kansas's recently passed law to force transgender folks to either put male or female on their driver's license, or no, they have to go with their biological sex on their driver's license. Otherwise, they don't get a driver's license, which means in Kansas, you don't get to vote, which means that's voter suppression, which means, yeah, I think that's freaking unconstitutional. I'm glad the ACLU is stepping in to help sue the state of Kansas. We have a very extreme Kansas legislature right now. A lot of Matt Walsh viewers, apparently, very heavy in the culture war stuff. We've got bigger problems here in Kansas, like we're running out of water in Western Kansas. We don't have enough money to fix our infrastructure here in Kansas. Our population isn't growing. We've got big issues here in Kansas, but they decide they want to focus on transgender issues because I guess some people in the Republican Party are riled up about those type of things. So they'd rather fix those. They'd rather fix those problems than the real problems, such as, oh, rural hospitals are shutting down. Most Kansas towns are shrinking. Kansas farmers are going bankrupt. Kansas farmers are running out of water to irrigate their crops in Western Kansas. We have real issues here, but they decide they want to focus on transgender IDs. Yeah. Anyway, so that's another thing. Okay, what else? So I have been writing my Congressman Tracy Mann for about 64 days now. Today's day 65. I haven't written him today yet. And every single day I've written him asking him why he does not support uncapping the House. Every single day of 2026, I have not got any substantive response. He did send out a canned response on January 8th, but he didn't answer my question. So in my view, he didn't respond yet. So it's kind of proven my point that we need more representation in Congress. And I'm excited to announce that the guy that I'm endorsing, who's running against Tracy Mann, whose name is Colin McRoberts, this afternoon, he's going to come to my studio because he lives in town here, and I'm going to interview him. And yeah, I already endorsed him. In fact, I've now endorsed 11 other people. You can see the full. Actually, I'll pull that up. I have the window open here. These are my 2026 midterm endorsements. The list is quickly growing. I'm up to 11 or 12. 11. I am talking to a couple other folks. They're all dudes. I need more females to reach out. I'm trying to. There is somebody else running against Tracy Mann. I did speak with her last week. I think I mentioned that on the stream, and she's kind of open to it, but she says she needs to research it more. But there's Colin right here in my district, the big first of Kansas's first district. He's going to be coming to my studio, and I'm going to interview him in a live stream. So, in other news regarding those letters, I printed them all off and mailed them. They should be arriving at his DC office today. So I printed off literally every single letter that I had written so far, and it was a stack about that big. And we mailed it, and today is the day he should be receiving that stack of letters. We'll see if anything develops. I doubt it. I think he might have blocked my email address. I've used multiple email addresses, but I think he might have blocked them. Regardless, I think his staff is well aware of what I'm doing. I've also called him many times, though, but I have to keep telling people this. He has not answered. Nobody from his office has even answered the phone when I call Tracy Mann. So I cannot get a hold of my own representative at all. But I do have other plans here. I have backup plans, and I have other ways to hopefully get his attention. No, I'm not only Tom. I'm also endorsing senators as well. I've already endorsed. If you go to the list, actually, there's a senator already up there, David Roth, who I actually met in person before. He's a lovely man. He is running for the Senate in Idaho. So far, he's the only senator that I've officially endorsed. Everybody else is running for the House of Representatives. As you can see on that list, I have somebody from Missouri, Clayton, who has a wonderful beard, a huge beard. It's amazing. He's in Missouri's 8th district, which I could drive to. There's also somebody from Nebraska. Scroll down here. Mark Cohen, who's an independent running in Kansas's 3rd district, which is all pretty much Nebraska's 3rd district, which is pretty much western Nebraska. That's another district I could drive to. And in fact, I think I'm going to try to do some live events with these guys if they win their primary. Well, Mark he has no primary. He's an independent candidate. Clayton still has to win his primary. He has a few other candidates who are trying to be the Democratic nominee. So anyway, whoa, we've got somebody in Missouri's 8th. Okay, there. Are you in Springfield, St. Louis? I imagine probably one or the other. So you got to vote for this guy, right? I mean, if he wins the primary, actually, you should vote in the primary and help him get elected. Yeah, his name is Clayton Harbison. He has a big, beautiful beard. Jason Smith. Yeah, man. That dude is, he's kind of the epitome of everything wrong with DC. Everything I've looked up about that dude, I'm like, oh, wow. You were born without a spine. That's cute. Okay. They are going to, it's not crazy, LeBron. They're actually going to uncap the House. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do right now. I haven't done this yet through the website, but I'm going to do it with you here so you can see. This is like proof that I'm doing this, okay? I'm going to request a meeting a meeting. I'm going to request a meeting with Tracy Mann. So it says complete this form to request a meeting with Congressman Mann. or to offer an invitation to a function, but I'm just going to try to meet up with them. So let's do this together here. Type of request, meeting request, location, in district, because I want to save money and I don't want to pay to travel to DC. Date of engagement. Well, here's where we need to check to see when Congress is in session. So let's go to the congressional calendar for the House of Representatives. So there's a website called rollcall.com, and you can easily see when Congress is in session. I bet you didn't know that this existed, did you? So as you can see on here, maybe it's too small. Let me zoom in. Yellow on the calendar means both chambers are in session. Blue means Senate only. Red means House only. So surprisingly, they're in session more than you would think. They do actually get things done from time to time. So I'm going to look at probably sometime in later March. It looks like they're pretty busy though. 30th and 31st. Oh, the whole week, first week of April, 2 weeks of April. Okay, probably the early April. Although that's when I'm supposed to be recording the podcast, so I got to be careful here. I'm going to try for March 30th. Actually, March 30th looks like he should be around. So let me go ahead and go back to the form. Does that sound good, chat? Should March 30th seem like a reason? Is that enough time? Today's March 6th. You know, okay, let's go ahead and request it for March 30th. I think nobody has any strong feelings about this, I don't think. March 30th, you know, and if I have to drive to Western Kansas, so be it. He is from Salina, and unlike Roger Marshall, one of our senators, Tracy Mann does have a house in Kansas, so that's good, I suppose. Number of attendees, 2, because Mrs. Beat, I'm going to drag her to come with me. Uncapping the House is the topic of engagement. Hello. I have been writing Congressman Mann every day since January 1st about, so that's for the past 64 days about uncapping the House of Representatives. I have not got a response as to why he currently does not support it. Could I please have at least 10 minutes with Congressman Mann to speak with him regarding this matter? Thank you, Matt Beat. Okay. Should I add anything to this letter? What do y'all think? Mrs. Beat, she's watching right now. I saw her in the chat. See? Well, if she has a beard. If anyone else wants to join me, on March 30th, if he does actually, I don't think any of you live in Kansas. Okay, I am human. Next page. Oh, wow, there's a lot more to fill out here. Oh, this is the same stuff I fill out every day. Okay. I even have autofill on because I do it so much. It doesn't take me longer than 5-10 minutes tops to write him every day, by the way. Organization, Beat Productions, LLC. That's our LLC's. I'm a video producer. Our website is IamMrBeat.com. I'm going to copy and paste that with the HTTPS, yo. Okay, page 4. Okay, this is where I have to put my address. I'm going to do the P.O. box. I'm going to do my official email and submit. Here we go. All right, so we have requested a meeting or appearance with him. I could actually hear back. I don't know. I'm a little bit optimistic here that at least maybe someone from his staff will get back to me. So the next plan is, if I don't hear back from mailing the letters to DC, which again, they should have gotten today, Friday, March 6th, then I'm going to I'm going to take them in person to the Manhattan office, which is the nearest office. So our district is so big, that's why they call it the Big First, that there is 2 local offices for Tracy Mann. One is in Manhattan, Kansas, which is about an hour away from where I live. The other is way down, I think, in Garden City, southwestern Kansas, which is about I think, over 6-hour drive from where I live. So, but I think taking them actually in person to the office will have an impact, and hopefully I can at least meet a staff member there and speak with them. So yeah, and I would actually go there. Again, going back to the calendar, I think the day I will probably go, I mean, I'm not going to tell you exactly right now because I want to kind of make it a surprise. But here's the calendar. I mean, he's pretty busy in March. It looks like the blue days, though, I mean, shoot. Next week actually looks pretty good because that's just when Senate's in session. Remember, the blue is Senate only. So that means he should be back in town or back in the state next week. So like Mrs. Beat was always, she's like, well, if you run for Congress one day, I'll never see you. We'll have to be in DC. I'm like, well, they actually spend a lot of time in their home districts. As you can see, everything in white or blue is, you know, theoretically the congressman should be back home here in Kansas. So anyway, I never know where Matt is going to take me next. Well, you know, you don't have to come. So let's talk about the Iran war. This has been dominating the news for good reason. It's absolutely terrible. And I can't believe we're all not out in the streets protesting every single. Maybe we're just tired. We're just tired because there's so much other crap that's gone wrong. We'll see how long this war drags on. But according to the Trump administration, this will be dragging on for at least several weeks, maybe several months. Some of them even mentioned all summer long. Wow. So far, just dropping bombs, though. No boots on the ground. Once boots go on the ground, I think it's a whole different situation. But yeah, let's watch this video to kind of get the latest on the 2026 Iran war. CBS, which apparently now is just state propaganda, but we'll see what they say.
Now to the war in Iran. Israel has launched new strikes overnight. The IDF says it's targeting the Iranian regime's infrastructure in Tehran. As the scope of the war expands, President Trump says he must have a role in choosing Iran's next leader. And House lawmakers voted down a resolution to rein in President Trump's authority on Iran. The measure failed in a 212 to 219 vote. 4 Democrats voted against it and 2 Republicans voted in favor. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the resolution plays into the hands of the enemy.
The War Powers resolution failed.
So I have to remind people about this as well, that that both political parties are usually pretty cool with war, and in terms of establishment members of both parties. When we talk about the anti-war factions, they're very underrepresented in Congress. If you look at polls, most Americans overwhelmingly are against this war. I saw one poll that showed as high as 70% against it. On the low end, 59% against it. And that's like the beginning. When we first went into Iraq in 2003, March 2003, almost exactly 23 years ago, the war was actually fairly popular. I think it was about 70% approval, if I recall correctly. So usually war is fairly popular, especially with people in power, because whenever there's a war, it kind of makes people in power look a little bit better. And that's typically why a president wants to kind of get into a war, as long as it's like easy, although no war is truly easy if you actually learn history. But yeah, that's why a lot of people are joking around. I mean, half joking. Maybe this is 100% true, but that invading Iran, going to war with Iran is surely just another way to distract us from the Epstein files. Because, I mean, hey, we're not talking about the Epstein files as much now that we're focused on Iran. I will say, though, the Epstein files aren't going away. I mean, you still go on social media, go on any platform, you're getting recommended Epstein files stuff, and they're still investigating this stuff. They're so far just investigating Democrats, the Clintons and Bill Gates. But the fact that Republicans are actually investigating this still, it's not going away. And then we'll just wait until after November, when likely Democrats take back over the House. It's just going to increase investigations into the new revelations of the Epstein files. But yeah, cynically, you could say that Iran has been yet another attempt to distract us from the Epstein files. I get that. Yeah.
That is the right result. We are not at war. We have no intention of being at war.
Oh
It would have
boy,
been a very dangerous gambit to take the commander-in-chief.
we're not at war. Hey, of course you're at war. You can't spin this any other way. This is, I mean, I hate to say it again, 1984 crap. War is peace. You know, you can't say we're just not falling for it anymore. People aren't that gullible anymore. We're not as easily duped by propaganda anymore. I think we need to give more people credit. We're just not falling for this anymore. And the Iraq War is fresh in our memories. You know, we remember the claims that there was weapons of mass destruction and that Saddam Hussein was harboring terrorists, specifically Al-Qaeda. He was harboring people who were responsible for 9/11. All of that turned out to be crap. All of that turned out to be not true. And I think most Americans, you know, older than 30 years old, they know that this is just all propaganda. I just don't think they're going to fall for it. That said, there's a lot of MAGA folks, people in the Trump cult, that are just falling in line. Some of them are not. You got to give props to those who have broken away from the cult because of not just the Iran war, but also the Epstein files. But still, most of them are sticking with the cult, probably until they die. Let's be honest. They're not going to. It takes a lot. I mean, it's like giving up your religion. I was telling Mrs. Beat this just a couple days ago, maybe yesterday. I think about my own deprogramming when I was raised fundamentalist Catholic, and of course indoctrinated heavily with the faith. I started to question it when I was probably in high school, and it took many, many years before I finally left the religion. You don't just leave it instantly when it's so intertwined with your identity. You're kind of, I mean, it's scary because you're not only leaving your identity, you're leaving your, in some cases, your family, like your whole support network is gone. And you have to kind of start over and find a new community. And without a community, life is very difficult. So, do I deal with Catholic guilt? Yeah, that will probably be with me for the rest of my life. I have family members that still think I'm going to go to hell, and I still have the fear of hell, even though hell doesn't exist. It's still like that seed was planted so early on with me, like being raised to fear the devil and hell. It's just, I don't feel like it's never going to go away. It's always stuck with me. It's a real thing. Yeah, it was, there's different types of Catholics. My family, especially on my mom's side, very fundamentalist Catholic. Like I'm talking like they would be cool with everything still being in Latin and no more female altar servers, stuff like that. So anyway, it's, if you're in the Trump cult, it's very difficult. You don't just leave it. And I think a lot of these folks, maybe they've been questioning it already. They're still sticking with it because they're just terrified to leave the group. And we see what happens when prominent figures of the MAGA movement leave. Those who are still in the cult, as cults do, they viciously attack those who criticize it. This is, yeah, it happens every time. It's very predictable. Okay, back to Mike Johnson, who is somebody who doesn't actually agree with the president, but he is a sycophant because it helps his own power.
Ability in a way to complete this mission. It would have been a very serious misstep by Congress.
And we have team coverage of our top stories for you this morning. Weijia Jiang is covering the ouster of Kristi Noem. Holly Williams is standing by in Iraq with a response to the Iran war from that country. But first, let's get you out live to CBS News senior foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab in Doha, Qatar. Imtiaz, good morning.
Michael, well, for a seventh straight day, the U.S. and Israel are carrying out punishing strikes across Iran, claiming to have achieved near complete air superiority after destroying more than 80% of Iran's air defense systems.
Tomahawk missiles launching from the USS Mahan, and fighter jets roaring off the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln, as President Trump called Iranian forces tough but badly weakened.
We're destroying more of Iran's missiles and drone capability every single hour.
In the capital, Tehran, the devastation is clear, with powerful explosions across the city of nearly 10 million people. Still, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi insists it's not over.
We are not asking for a ceasefire.
As Iranian drones and missiles continue to target U.S. allies across the Gulf and beyond, Israel is aggressively targeting the Iranian proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon. As pressure mounts on Iran's leadership and its regional allies, a separate race is now underway in Tehran. Who will replace the assassinated supreme leader? His son, Mujtaba Khamenei, has emerged as a leading candidate.
Khamenei was not very popular, by the way. The regime in Iran was extremely unpopular. Probably 75 to 80% of Iranians hated them. That's why there were so many protests. They were getting massacred in the street. There's a lot of stuff we don't know because the Iranian government hid it from the outside world. Some of the footage snuck out, but most of it, they're pretty good at censoring in Iran. But yeah, the Iranian regime that was there, it's important to note that they were very unpopular because, yeah, they're tyrants. They were tyrants. That doesn't mean that it was okay for us to take them out. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to take out every single brutal dictator in the world? I think that's a naive way of thinking about the world. I mean, think about this. It's like a child. Oh, there's a bad guy. Let's take out the bad guy. He bad. Let's take him out. No, that's not how this works, because if you do one thing, there's a ripple effect. There's consequences, often unintended consequences. Often you're creating power vacuums. You're making it so that sometimes worse people get in power. You're making it so that more people die. I just think that these are complicated matters that that's the reason why we don't just take out every single bad person in the world. Obviously, you got Vladimir Putin, who has been killing his own citizens for a very long time. He's a horrible, brutal dictator. You've got Kim Jong-un in North Korea. I mean, come on, what are you going to do? You're gonna invade North Korea next? You've got brutal dictators across Asia, Africa, like Myanmar. You've got several African nations that still have dictators that are committing atrocities. Latin America is not as bad as it used to be, thankfully. There's even this country, what is it called? The United States, where they're killing their own citizens in the United States and suppressing free speech. So yeah, I mean, there's bad people doing bad things around the world. Doesn't mean you take them all out. I think it's just a very childish way of handling foreign affairs. I think soft power is definitely the way to go. We've learned that from history, that if you want to influence bad people, if you want to influence them to be better, then you just change the incentives and you do other things kind of behind the scenes. You don't just bomb them. I think bombing them is the childish thing to do. And Pete Hegseth, though, he's basically a child. I mean, that's what it's like. Okay. By the way, he's somebody who in the past, Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of Defense, he's someone who has criticized the Iraq War. He said at one time he called himself a recovering neocon. So they don't stand for anything other than themselves.
Says Iran expert Mehran Kamrava of Georgetown University in Doha.
If Mojtaba indeed is chosen as his father's successor, it would indicate that the Islamic Republic is trying to have continuity, is trying to ensure that the Revolutionary Guards, that civil-military relations remain the same.
And Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said what he described as some countries have begun mediation efforts to end the war, but did not specify which countries, only saying mediation should address those who, quote, ignited this conflict. Michael.
All right, Imtiaz Tyab in Doha, thank you. Well, as the conflict in Iran widens, sources tell CBS News President Trump has urged Iranian Kurds to aid in the U.S. operation. CBS News foreign correspondent Holly Williams is in Iraq with more.
7 days into this war, we still don't know what President Trump's endgame is. But a leader in this armed Iranian opposition group told us that they're in contact with the US government and share the same goal, the downfall of the Iranian regime.
Good luck.
They say they haven't yet received any direct US support. The Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan represents the Kurdish ethnic minority, around 10%.
I'm going to say 10%. I'm sorry. I do have sympathy for the Kurds who have been stateless for their entire existence as an ethnic group. They have a large presence in Iraq, and they helped the Americans in Iraq as well. But time and time again, we let them down. I think Tom just said it in the chat. Like, remember, ISIS came, and we failed to protect them from ISIS. Yeah, Sir Butts mentioned Syria. There's a sizable group in Syria and Turkey. It's a group that is consistently persecuted, discriminated against. They do deserve their own state, but is this the way to do it in Iran? Are you serious? Like, I'm sorry. I'm pretty cynical when I hear this kind of thing.
Iran's population. We visited their base here in northern Iraq in January, around 30 miles from Iran's border. Amaj Zabtayi is a member of their leadership committee. He told us last night that America and Israel's war with Iran is an opportunity, and his party may use it to start an offensive.
Has the United States promised you support if you launch a military action inside Iran against the regime?
I can't answer that question, he said, later telling us it was too sensitive. This morning, we visited the camp of another Iranian Kurdish opposition group, also here in Iraq, that they say was hit by a drone strike last night.
This group believes they were targeted either directly by Iran or by one of the militia groups here in Iraq that's backed by the Iranian regime.
Kurdish forces have teamed up with the US before. We witnessed Kurdish fighters help defeat ISIS in both.
And don't forget that Iran and Iraq fought a really bloody war in the 1980s. The United States aided Iraq during that war. And it's a largely religious war. You could say the same thing about maybe the United States-Israel war with Iran right now. There's religious underpinnings. But in Iraq, it's mostly Sunni Muslim, and Iran, it's mostly Shia. So they've been enemies for a while as well. The Kurds have kind of got caught up in both countries. If you look at a map, let's just pull up Iran on Google Maps. Why not? This is DuckDuckGo. Even better. Okay. So if you look at a map of Iran, it's a huge country, by the way, way bigger than Iraq. But this area here, northern Iraq, northwestern Iran, eastern Syria, southeastern Turkey. That's the area we're talking about where you see a very high Kurdish population. So yeah, maybe they can achieve that in some way, but this is not the way to do that. I think we haven't answered something. I want to see what they say here, but a question that we still haven't really answered, I've seen no one give a fulfilling answer on this, is why are we at war with Iran? Specifically, why is Israel and Iran at war? Why is the United States and Iran at war specifically? Because I feel like there's not really a clear answer to that question. I'm sorry.
Enemy than ISIS, armed with drones and ballistic missiles.
The Iranian opposition groups that we've met with in this area are all lightly armed, mainly with Kalashnikovs. They say they want a democratic Iran and they hate the regime, but taking it on militarily could be a tall order. Michael?
And Holly, jumping off of that, if these opposition groups are lightly armed, if they are so outgunned, why would they take action against the regime?
Because they think the United States is going to back them.
Well, Michael, we don't know if they actually will go ahead with any military offensive inside Iran, despite the encouragement from President Trump. But in terms of their possible motivations, well, many of the fighters in those Iranian opposition groups are actually women. And they've told us that the reason they left Iran and live here in exile in northern Iraq is that the Iranian regime limits women's rights. Secondly, they're members of the Kurdish ethnic minority, and they say that their people inside Iran are oppressed by the Iranian regime, and they dream of a day when majority Kurdish areas in Iran will have some degree of autonomy. Finally, while there are huge risks in any military offensive, including to their lives, if they do get some kind of US support, especially American military air support for an offensive, that's got to be a huge temptation, a huge motivation to partner up with the world's most powerful military to achieve their goals.
Yep. You got to feel for the Kurds for sure. Kurdistan, yeah, I'm all about that, but it's just a matter of how. Okay, I feel like CBS is state propaganda at this point, so let's get a different perspective. I'm going to search up Democracy Now! Iran coverage. This is kind of the other end here. Let's see how. This is from yesterday.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. Israel's launched another wave of airstrikes against Iran with loud blasts reported in Tehran this morning as the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran enters a fifth day. The reported death toll in Iran has surpassed 1,000, with the victims including many children. This is a resident of Tehran who was forced to flee to Armenia.
I am from Tehran. There were constant bombings. There are 50 to 60 bombings daily. Very scary. It is unimaginable for the people with children. Food stores are working. The hospitals are working too. So do the fueling stations. Nothing else is working. There's practically nobody in the city of Tehran. Everybody moves in the countryside. Those who have cottages over there. Others stay indoors. The city is deserted.
This comes as President Trump said Tuesday the U.S. Navy could soon begin escorting oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz after a commander in Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps threatened to set ablaze any ship that passes through there. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz in response to the U.S.-Israeli joint attacks, disrupting global energy markets as the strait is a key waterway for oil and gas. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the Trump administration had sunk an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean, leaving over 100 people missing. Iranian media reported today's funeral ceremony for Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was assassinated Saturday, has been postponed. His son, Mojtaba Khamenei, has reportedly emerged as the frontrunner to replace his father as Iran's supreme leader, according to the New York Times. Israel has said whoever is chosen as new supreme leader will become, quote, an unequivocal target for elimination, unquote. Israel's already bombed the Assembly of Experts building in Qom, where the decision was expected to be made. For more, we're joined here in New York by Nargis Bajogli. She's an associate professor of anthropology and Middle East studies at Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies, or SAIS. Professor, welcome back to Democracy Now! Talk about the latest, the significance of what's happening right now, and about the killing, the assassination of the Supreme Leader Khamenei.
So it seems like one of the first strikes that happened on Tehran in as soon as this war began was a decapacitation strike on the supreme leader, as well as other military and political leaders in the country. It's important to note that the supreme leader did not go into hiding this time like he did in June. He didn't go into bunkers. And so in many ways, and because he was killed in his compound, he wanted to be martyred this time around.
He was dying of cancer already.
He was dying.
He was 86 years old.
Yeah.
He was already...
That's another thing, too, is like he would have probably died within months anyway. And now doing this just makes the United States and Israel look even worse. I just think... Because, you know, he was not just a political leader, he was a religious leader for all Shia Muslims. So even if he was a brutal despot, a tyrant, it doesn't matter because there's also the religious element of it. I'm glad that she brought that up.
A very elderly gentleman and sick. But he has become a symbol of martyrdom and resistance against Israeli and American war. And that has significant meaning within Shia culture. And this is why we're seeing, as you showed earlier on this show, protests happening in Pakistan, as well as in Bahrain, as well as India, and across the Muslim world, because he was not just a leader of a country, but for many Shia Muslims, they also saw him as a spiritual leader.
And can you talk about Mojtaba Khamenei?
Mojtaba Khamenei is his son, and he's long been rumored to be next in line. It is still unclear whether that's actually the case. I know the New York Times is reporting that, but we have to wait and see.
All right. Well, just to wrap things up here, chat, what do you think? Students, why are we at war with Iran? Why are we in this war? Other than to distract us from the Epstein files. Like, to me, it's still confusing. It just seems like, who is this helping? You know, like, are we really there for their resources? We're already hurting ourselves with oil. I mean, oil, we have plenty of oil here. It's not really, there's plenty of other places where there's oil. We took over Venezuela. Okay, Netanyahu's influence, but still, does he really have that much influence over the Trump administration? Oil distraction sucking up to Israel, weakening the rival in Iran. This is something I've been thinking about, and I can't come up with a good answer. I just I feel like it's just stupid, and it's not going to go well. It's not going to end well. The moment that we do run out of ways to intercept missiles headed towards our target, our bases, and heaven forbid, like we could end up seeing Americans killed here at home if this drags out long enough, because we're talking about a huge country here that we've just turned in. We're talking about 91 million people who are now anti-American. Before, maybe they were indifferent about the United States, or some of them hated the United States. Some of them probably even loved us. I mean, I saw images of Iranians and other countries who are expats, you know, former people that used to live in Iran who have fled. And, you know, of course, there's not many freedoms in Iran, so they wanted more freedom. And I've seen footage of them cheering this on. Like there were some Iranian Americans, I think in California, who were like, yay, Khamenei is gone. The regime is down. They, like, more freedom for women now. Yay. Okay, but you're doing this from afar. You're not there. What's going on there is, we saw that guy fleeing Tehran. And he said the whole city's dead. That's the biggest city. That's 10 million people. Where are they going? Like, how are they going to be able to live their lives? Look at all the civilians who have already died. Reports of school children being bombed. I mean, this is insane. I just can't believe that people would support this anywhere. And yeah, now Israel's attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran has been, so far, we'll look at that map here. They've been targeting mostly allies of the United States and Israel. Oh yeah, you can't see it unless you, let me just zoom in on this. Those in red are the targeted by Iran, Hezbollah, and the PMF. PMF, that's Popular Mobilization Forces. Okay. That's the group that was in Iraq. Yeah. And then the United States, Israel's in blue. Whoever's keeping up, who's ever updating this page, you're doing a good job, by the way. But yeah, I have a feeling this is going to go on for a long time, and it's not going to be pretty, folks. This is not going to be good. So yeah, that's what happened since I saw you last. In case you're new here, I do this every week. Almost every week. Every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central, I react to stuff in the news, try to give some more context historically. Don't forget that the United States and Iran have had really bad relations since 1953, since the United States helped overthrow the democratically elected Mossadegh, a president who was very popular in Iran, who promised more reforms to help Iranian citizens be more free, which is, you know, ideals that the United States ostensibly share with and the United States helped the UK overthrow him, even though he was democratically elected and popular, because he wanted to nationalize the oil. And so we wanted to help British Petroleum. We wanted to help a giant oil corporation make more money. And so we overthrew their very popular, democratically elected leader. And then flash forward 25, 26 years later, there's the Iranian Revolution, and it's a religious fundamentalist revolution. And they went backwards in many ways because they took away a lot of freedoms from people. Of course, the Iranian hostage crisis in 1979, which just made the Americans even more angry at Iran. And we've been angry at them ever since. They've been angry at us, although most citizens are more indifferent. Mainly, we're talking about governments hating each other. But I just think Donald Trump is like, oh yeah, the Iran hostage crisis. I remember that. That was bad. That sucked. They kidnapped Americans. That was horrible. Freaking Carter didn't get them back either. That's probably what Trump was thinking in his back of his mind. And then here we are, 47 years later, and he's like, oh yeah, let's just attack Iran. Now to me, it's somewhat random. There was no credible evidence that the United States was under any imminent threat from Iran. There's no evidence at all that Iran was going to attack us. They did not attack us. This is a war of aggression, and the Trump administration ought to be ashamed of themselves. Screw this war is what I'm trying to say. In case you hadn't figured it out, I am not a fan of going to war with Iran, and I think you shouldn't be either. I think we should tell everybody we know this is an unjust war. This is even worse than Iraq. At least with Iraq, we went to the United Nations. We actually got a couple countries to join us through the United Nations. This is just Israel and the United States going rogue. The rest of the world does not approve of this. The rest of the world's like, what the heck are you doing? And yeah, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. This is really bad. Anyway, have a good weekend.